I wonder why some people complain after they've bought or rented an apartment. Like, oh, this place is flooded. This place is this. I don't like the structure. Oh, there's no maintenance. There's no this. There's no that. This is not what I requested for. Yes, it's something you should do before you buy or rent an apartment. Today I'm going to tell you some things you should look out for before you buy or rent an apartment anywhere you find yourself. And if you're a new realtor out there or an agent who is trying to go into this business, these are some questions you should ask your clients. Number one on my list, location. If you're in Lagos, there are different locations. Either you're going to stay in the island or you're going to stay in the mainland. And not just like that. There are different areas in the island too in the mainland. Does the person want to stay in an estate where there is a lot of security or stuff like that? And if you're going to stay in an estate too, there are still questions you should find out. There are some estates that without a code, you can't go in or go out. There are some estates that they don't know you. Even if you have 10 buildings or 10 apartments in the estate, the security guys do not know you. These are some things you should find out. I have a landlord I dealt with. She bought a property in an estate, and I was trying to give the place out to somebody. And when I called her, madam, they are not allowing us. And she said, no, tell them I am so person. I bought a property in this place. And they were like, sorry, we don't know this person. You have to, the code is your identity to that apartment or to that estate. So these are some questions you should find out too. Then, how many bedrooms is the person looking for? There are some places also you should find out if the place is flooded. You also need to find out. And another thing you should look out for is what is the budget. Anybody that wants to rent or buy a property should have a budget. You can't just come and say open budget, open for waiting. Then when you give them the budget, they're like, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, this is below. No, there should be a budget. And it's not renting a fully detached duplex. Then you should find out if the landlord stays in the compound. And you should find out if there is water in the compound. Is the water clean, or like Lekki, some part of Lekki, for example, especially in Lekki phase 1, the water is not clean. Do you have a treated water, or are you the one that's going to treat the water? Then another important thing, service charge. A guy was going to buy a property through me, and he was like, please, I don't want to buy a property and still look like a tenant. I was like, bros, I don't understand. Explain further. He said there are some properties you buy, and at the end of the day, you're paying service charge like if you are renting an apartment. So you should find out the service charge. How is the service charge? What exactly is the service charge covering? Is it just for security? Is it for the cleaning of the compound? Is it for packing of debts and stuff like that? These are some things you should find out before you rent a property. Not be when you don't enter property finish, you call they fight whoever don't help you get the property. Like seriously, that kind of thing they pain. Person don't help you find property finish. You like, Omo, come and help me talk to my landlord. Or, no, come on, I need my money back. These are some things you should find out before you pay that money and move in. Then, most important things, coming from a lawyer, please take this very importantly. Tenancy agreement, it's very important. When you get the tenancy agreement, I'm going to talk about tenancy agreement much later, but tenancy agreement is very important because it tells you the date in which you rented the apartment. There are some properties that when you go and rent, at the time you're trying to rent the property, there are some renovation that is being done in the property, or the property is not fully structured before you move in. Then you start having dispute of when you paid or when you move in, because most time you're renting this property and you're making payments in advance so that somebody else will not take it. How do they use the word? You are trying to secure the property, but sometimes you would have spoken with the landlord. I'm like, oh, since this property is not ready, when will it be ready? The man will say maybe 1 month, 2 months. Can the rent start from that month? Because I'm doing you a favor also. It cannot start from the day when you've not finished renovating or fixing some things. It depends. It's just communication also. But most time, put these things in writing. And another thing, who is renting this property out to you? This one gets why. This one is serious. Because so many landlords are outside the country. And then maybe the brother is the one renting and is not the legal person to rent to you, or is the sister, or is a developer or an engineer or a carpenter that just help him, or just somebody that wants to help. Be very sure who you're renting with, directly the landlord. And when you're making your payments, make sure you have all documents. Let the receipts bear the name of whoever you're renting from. Let the receipt be the same name with the landlord or the so-called landlord that is said, and also the tenancy agreements. You don't want to buy a property or rent a property. Let me use the word rent because we're talking about rent. You don't want to rent a property and the name on your receipt is Mr. A and the tenancy agreement is Mr. B. You get why with the sittings for court. So anyways, this is how far I can go. If you have any questions, feel free to drop your questions and I'll be here to respond to your questions. Anyway, feel free to drop your question. Like I said, make your comments and don't forget to subscribe, follow on whatever platform you find me, share this video, like, and I hope to see you in another of my video. Thank you so much.